Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am your host, Tim Gray, or on screen as Ghost Terror 45. Welcome, everyone. I hope that everyone is ready for a night of action packed racing over in the beautiful, beautiful Brazil Interlagos racetrack. This race today is presented by RWB Racing and is sponsored by Detailing Group. And all our graphics are supplied by Hyprix. So a huge shout out to all these guys. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is really ready for a good evening of racing here. We're just getting everything set up. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm a couple minutes late here tonight. We were just sourcing out some audio. And we're just getting the video feed coming in here shortly. So I do apologize, guys. So, first thing is first, welcome viewers. So this is presented to you guys because you guys make these kinds of things happen. So where is everybody viewing from tonight? Let's see either some flags up in the chats on the platforms, or let's see, just tell us where you're viewing from tonight. Let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's get involved early. All right, so we are going to flip over to our beautiful layout here. As we can see, we've got our racers sitting on the starting grid. This is much like last week where the race was ran the previous day. So this is a rebroadcast of the race through the amazing view of the graphics provided by Hyprix, and hopefully some great commentary by your host Ghost. And we do have a co-host with us tonight who we will introduce to you guys shortly.
Phoenix,
So.
Arizona, and Egon is here. Let's race.
Yeah, you can kind of hear him in the background there. All right, so we are here at Interlagos in Brazil. Now, this is a interesting racetrack for the racers to be racing on today. It is a fairly short racetrack for the most part. The lap times are going to be within about a minute and a half to a minute 40, somewhere in that general area. And the drivers have two cars to choose from in this. They have the Peugeot RCZ, pardon me, or the choice with Alfa Romeo 4C. Both French manufacturers, so again, like last week's race, we have two manufacturers battling each other out for the glory of their countries. So this should be interesting. We do have an assortment of both cars on track like last week. And like every race, there are two required tire compounds. We do have the racing softs and we have the racing medium tires. The drivers will be required to run one set of each compound throughout the race. And the tire wear, because this is the Group 3 cars, is at 1 times. Fuel, like last week, is a 2 times consumption. So fuels and tire could very well play a factor in this race due to the technical sectors in the middle of the racetrack. There isn't very large straights on Interlagos, so I do suspect it should be a fairly action-packed race today. And as usual, our pit window is from 50 minutes remaining until 40 minutes remaining, and that gives the drivers a 10-minute window to change their tires to the other compound and refuel their cars if it's necessary. And drivers are only allowed to refuel and change tires within this 10-minute window, and the drivers must be out no later than 39 minutes and 59 seconds basically, or they will suffer the wrath of the stewards. So with that being in mind, that's an important key part of the race, and we'll make sure we're a little better for it this week. We'll get to the starting grid here as well on track. We have Icer Benjo starting up there in pole position today. We have Marchy Boy did not make the race, so we have Icer Walks in second place, taking Marchy Boy's spot. We have G-Man starting up here in third position, with Agorski coming in starting fourth, and Ghost Terror starting fifth. Supermex would be starting sixth, Egon seventh, and then we would have Quasmodo in eighth, and Little Mac, of course, with the fastest time last week, rounding up the back of the pack. And the rest of the drivers were unable to make the race, so we have a 10-car field today, much like we had last week. So let's quickly take a look at the driver standings before we kick this off. We're kind of doing this a little bit differently here, but this is it's getting near the end of the season, so let's have this in our minds while we're just about ready to start the race here. I apologize for my ums here. I'm having a little hard time finding the words at the start here. Alright, so here's our driver standings. After last week's race over at St. Croix, which was a great race, we have Little Mac sitting up in top position, still holding on to that top spot with 100 points over Supermex. Supermex is, he's right there. It's easily within his grasp at very close to 93 points. A 7-point difference isn't that big of a difference when it comes down to it here. We have Egon, who, remember, won last week's race, really jumping up compared to last week, moving up into that third position with 69 points. So that was a really, really good jump for Egon in the standings compared to last week. And then we've got G-Man down, holding fourth place down still over with 64 points here. Gorski's nipping very close with 63. We have Icer Walks sitting in there in sixth place with 56 points. Mobile Edge, who unfortunately is not in the race today, sitting there with 47th. Ozman, who is also not in the race today, sitting in 8th with 41 points. Marchy Boy, who's unable to make the race, is sitting there with 41 points. We have Icer Benjo, who is here today with 36 points. So this is a good opportunity for some of these guys to jump a couple positions in the standings, as some of the drivers are unable to make it. Twilight is sitting in 11th with 25 points. Our one of the new drivers from last week, who had a very good race, finishing 4th place last week in his debut, sitting there pretty nicely with 12 points already in the late in the season here. Also a new driver last week was Ghost Terror, who had a pretty solid drive as well with the 10 points there. And Toxic Bacon, who's unable to make the race, was 6. And Venti Supersoft, also unable to make this race, also with 6 points, rounding up the bottom of the standings here for the season. So let us get underway with the race here. So we have our co-host today, who is a close personal friend of mine and a fellow racer with the community that I'm a part of, and his name is Joe. So welcome, Joe, to the stream. How you doing today, my guy? How you doing? We can't hear you. All right, because I don't have my mic down, so it's too late. How you doing today, Joe? All right, we're with this. We're with this here. So we are actually going to get this race going. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to see round 8 at Interlagos? I want to see some let's go up in the chats. Let's get some let's go up in the chats, everybody. Let's get this race fired up. Don't forget to hit those reactions. Don't forget to share this out. If you think you know anybody who would really like and enjoy to watch an event like this, get that share out there for GT Champions, guys, and enjoy the content. Enjoy the content. This is family friendly, remember, everybody, so totally safe for your children to watch. And we are totally going to kick this race off. We are going to throw up our beautiful little bottom banner that is provided here with HyPrix graphics and kick this guy off. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Countdown to 3, 2, 1. Let's get this race going. All right. So we're sitting here with the lights. You guys are getting ready to go. We're going to start right on the pole sitter here and watch the action. So everybody has to, oh, we got a false start. Team out for fun here, starting off a little bit too early. Now, how's that going to affect the pack here? It looks like everybody got around him there pretty safely. We got a 3 wide coming in corner 1 as Benjo's coming through nice and clear. Moving down the ice. So we got a little battle here for 4th between Egon and Supermex right off the bat. Looks like Egon is going to get out in front here. We got Igorski and Little Mac. Little Mac with a huge jump at the start of this race, gaining a quick early 4 positions and hunting Igorski down here. So we're going to stick with this here real quick, guys. A little bit of tap on the inside there as he sticks his nose in there. And is he going to get this move done? He is looking like he's going to get this done. And we do have Igorski just going to tuck in there and see what he can do to get him back here. A little bit of contact there, but we'll see what happens there after the race. We got Quasimodo, who had a great run last week again, you guys, sitting there in 6th place right now. And then rounding out the back end of the pack here, we have ISO in 7th. We have a new driver, Astro Pancake. I forgot to mention him on the starting order. I do apologize. Coming in at 8th, this is his first race with the GT Champions Division 3, guys. And we'll see how he handles the race. So he's sitting there in 8th place. And then we've got G-Man sitting there in 9th, and Ghost Carol running out the back of the pack there in 10th place. So let's get back to our leaders and see what's happening up front here. We have Icer. We've got a little bit of pressure coming already from Egon and Supermex. Now, remember, the way the grid order starts is the racer with the fastest lap time, overall, out of all the races' fastest lap times, will start in the back of the pack, all the way up to where Benjo started. Now, we have a little bit of contact there. We do have some contact there. Egon and Benjo got into each other a little bit, and Egon did go off the track. Let's find out. And we gotta check that back out here. So we're just gonna back that up a little tiny bit and see what happened here. So we got Benjo on the inside. Looks like he just got a little bit loose there, and he just got into the side of Egon. And great job to Egon for getting back on track without causing for a losing there. And unfortunately for Egon, losing a couple of positions in that scuffle there. So we'll keep an eye on how that develops. That could be big for the standings. But this is a very long race. Oh, we just had somebody go super wide. Igorski went super wide there. We would expect to probably see him get that penalty there, because he definitely went wide on the track, and there it is. So he's going to have to burn off that half-second penalty before we get to the start-finish line here. And makes a move on Moto there, but decides to bleed that penalty off in the corner, and also allows our championship leader to get by him there. And Egon now as well going to try his luck on the outside here. Decides to back off a little bit and maybe wait for a better opportunity there to make a safer pass. So he's going to dip it in on the inside here. He's going to try, and Igorski actually does a really good job there at fighting that move off. So we're going to stick with this middle pack here real quick, everybody, for a minute, and just see what develops here. We try to keep our eye on everything that's going on. This is a great race so far. We've got a little bit of contact, so a little bit of pushing and shoving, but keep in mind this is a very technical racetrack, and not very much room sometimes for 2 cars to be going around some of these corners. So as we're settling in here, we are now on lap 3 of this 90-minute endurance race, and we're just settling in here. There's still lots. The pack is basically all right there. So we do have Supermex who managed to make a move on Benjo. Totally missed that because we were busy watching what's going on up there in 4th. And what do we got happening here in 3rd place? We did have Moto try to make a move. Oh, and Igorski going wide in the back there again. Was that from a little bit of contact? Let's just back that up a notch here and take a look. So Igorski just tried to hold that outside line. It doesn't. We didn't go far enough back. Let's take one more peek at that. It looks like he just tried to hold the outside line here when Egon went in, and there just wasn't enough room for him there. No, there was no contact. It just wasn't quite enough room for him to hold that outside line there. So that's a little unfortunate for Igorski as he settles back into 7th place there. And we're going to try and keep our eyes on Egon here real quick. It looks like he's going to be pressing on that fourth place driver here. So we just check everything out. So we do have Supermax here now in first place. Great spot for him to be right now based off of the standings in after round 7 at St. Juan there. And then we have ISO Benjo right there in second. And there it is, Little Mac just making a move right in the background of that picture there on Quasimodo. So Little Mac very, very quickly moving his way up the pack. He doesn't want to let these guys get too far ahead of him here. He wants to make a statement on their standings today, I think, and just try to get up to that front position as quickly as he can. And then we have sixth, and looks like Agorski's kind of giving him the business back there a little bit, giving him a face full of Alfa Romero in the rearview mirror there. So let's jump on board and take a look at the chase cam here as Agorski tries to sneak his way around 6th place here and try to get some regain back on the front of that pack here. The guys look like they're starting to kind of settle in here as. And G-Man also takes opportunity there to make a move as Agorski went through. So let's just back that up really quick and get another look at that. So there Agorski goes through nice and easy, nice and clean, and G-Man just tucks in a little bit of contact there, Look like G-Man thought he was clear and just tried to pull back into the line there. It just didn't quite have enough clearance there, but it looks like nobody had any harm or foul there, so... Cars are too loud. I apologize, you guys. We're going to fix that right now. Let's go. Like this. Alright. Thank you there, Joe. I appreciate the heads up there.
That's coming from Egon, who's watching the race.
Alright.
Keep the drivers happy if they're watching.
I gotta keep the viewers happy. We want you guys to enjoy this. So, yeah, everybody remember to hit those reactions to get those shares out. Let's get all the race fans up in here making some noise. Who's your favorite driver in the Division 3 series here, guys? Let's start back here up at the poll. Let's get the viewers going in on the interactions here. We have Supermax right now in first place. We're going to go through the list. Pick your favorite driver, chat. We have Agorski running here in second. We have Egon in third. We've got Quadmoto here in fourth. Benjo in fifth. We've got Agorski in sixth. G-Man 7th. We've got Isowox in 8th. And we've got Astro in 9th. And Ghost Hair in 10th. Who do you think's got the drive to pull off the race win today, chat? Who do you guys think's going to do it? Let's fire up that chat. Let's get hot in here, everybody.
A little bit hard on that chat. You consider you got 3 drivers in the chat watching it right now.
Well, hey, they could be biased. That's okay. That's okay.
Might be a fist fight in the pits next weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the stewards will make sure none of that happens. Alright, so Little Mac is now starting to shake down Supermax here, and we got Egon rounding out top 3, cruising behind Little Mac here. We missed that pass on Little Mac. We have Quad and Benjo looking like they're having a little battle for 5th place and 4th place here. It looked like Benjo tried to make a move there and just wasn't able to pull it off. So we'll keep our eyes on this here for a couple seconds. As first, second, and third kind of opened up a little 1.5 second roughly gap amongst each other at the moment. So each of those drivers are just going to be looking to grab those valuable tenths of a second through the corners of this track and hopefully grab that slipstream behind the other car. So the Alfa Romero and the Peugeot are fairly well balanced when it comes to this race, I think. And it really is going to come down to driver skill here. I don't really think that any one of these 2 cars has a real over advantage on the other. So this should really be interesting to shake up and see what's going to happen. And we do have Agorski really moving in on Benjo here. So let's keep our eyes on this. We have Agorski taking the move. He's pushing the fact, drag racing down the line here. He is going to have the outside of this corner, so we'll see if he can make this stick. And great job by the 2 drivers there to keep that clean and through that corner and on track and safe and sound. But with that being said, it sure looks like G-Man is like, thank you very much, boys. And he's going to try and get this move done on Nagorski now. Sitting on the outside line, he's in the tough spot. He's going to tuck back in, probably wait for a little bit of a better opportunity to try and get that move done again. If this is me in this position here, you're just trying to get tucked up. Oh, a little bit of contact into the back of Nagorski there. Kind of really slowed himself down there, but hopefully didn't cause himself any damage in that little scuffle there. But no harm, no foul, no position changes there. So G-Man's got a little bit of work here to do to catch back up to Nagorski after that little bit of a missed braking cue there. So we'll go check back down the back of the pack here and see what's going on. Looks like these guys are just kind of trying to settle into the race cars a little bit. But looking good, still on track, is still in that front big long 10-car lineup we have going on here. All right, so let's take a look at the liveries, everybody. You know, everybody loves a good. Everybody knows in Gran Turismo Sport, the half the fun with this game is making these liveries for these cars. So Supermax here with an absolutely beautiful livery here, and having the pink ribbon there, also obviously driving for a good cause. So if he gets on the podium here today, then hopefully we can talk to him about that a little bit. So we'll see how the race progresses in there. And moving over to Little Mac here, and in good true tried fashion for Little Mac, he's got his classic green in that livery there, nice and simple and clean, and just doing his thing, just cruising right now, trying to catch Supermax. It does kind of look like he is slowly gaining. It looks like that gap is slightly closed. And we've got Egon down here, and we've got Egon with an absolutely, looks like heartfelt livery going on here. It looks like this one took some time to put together. And he does have a decal on the side of the car. I just unfortunately can't quite make it out. So if he finishes up in those top three there, we will, same thing, I have to ask him what that's all about there. So gotta get your mic a little closer, brother. Quad Moto coming through here, just a nice, simple, very clean, elegant livery here.
Egon's coming in on the poles.
Attaboy, Egon, attaboy. We got Benjo here rocking a very similar livery to
definitely voting for himself, trying to start rivalry against the other drivers.
Go Canada, go, right? Alright, so we have the Australian driver Benjo. It looks like he is rocking a similar livery, and while we're here, we still got this battle for 5th place here. Nagorski really taking an aggressive drive. They're making a good move off the inside. Really worked his way around Benjo really quickly there. Benjo's not done yet. He's going to fight back here, but with that being said, that's given G-Man the opportunity here to hopefully grab another spot as well and chase Nagorski through. And both drivers do go a little bit wide there, so we'll see if either one of them pick up a penalty there. The track limits can be fairly forgiving here, but you do need to try and keep that rubber a little bit on that tarmac. And it doesn't look like we're going to see any penalties there, but we do have a good battle for 5th place here at the moment. So Benjo is working hard here to try to get that 5th spot back, and G-Man back there lurking. He's just waiting, he's lurking, hoping one of these guys maybe makes a little bit of a mistake so he can maybe grab both spots there. Just working his way. He's got a good drive out of the corner.
Is from his fraternity, says the mother's heart.
Beautiful, awesome. Thank you so much for that information, Egon. Really appreciate that. And G-Man's going to try and make a move. A little bit of, not sure what that was there. They got a little bit close there. And G-Man backs out. They're moving into the first set of corners here. And probably just taking the preferred line. Not the best place to try and make a pass. Coming out of this straightaway, we'll see him tuck back up in here. Maybe try to get this done by the next corner. And there he goes, thinking about it, taking the inside line here, and Benjo's got not much to do here but try to hold that outside line at this point. So here we go, a little bit of contact going into the corner. A little bit wide on Benjo there. Was that because of the contact, or was it just maybe a little bit of nervousness? Having cars side by side through that corner is definitely tough, ladies and gentlemen. So good job to the guys. Everybody's on track and still racing hard. And Ice was just settling back in 7th there and get ready to try to make that move back on G-Man here. So gonna move back through, and we got Ice who's still holding up his 8th place spot here right now. He's just settled into his race, and he's just trying to catch that rest of that mid pack. And we've got Astro back here as well, just still about the same distance back from Icer here, from Walks here, and just running his laps right now, getting comfortable, getting a feel underneath him for what's happening. And then in the back of the pack, kind of doing the same thing. They're just kind of chilling right now and just turning those laps and just getting settled into the race. So, not a lot happening right at the moment here. It doesn't look like, real quick, Little Mac and Egon look like they are slowly closing the gaps off on each other. So we do need to keep a pretty close eye on what's going to happen up here in this top 3, I would say, probably in the near future, as we are about 15 minutes into the race here, and roughly about a third of the way through the first stint. We also have Moto just chilling back here. He's just trying to pick back up on the top 3 guys, and really not under a lot of pressure at the moment. And G-Man is definitely pushing the issue here on that 5th place. He is pushing hard. He wants to get around Degorski here and start making his way up towards 4th place. So we'll watch this here for a couple of seconds as this battle is starting to develop as G-Man closes up that gap here. So we'll keep with these guys going into the final straight here and see if anything gets done here. So, fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, Gran Turismo fun fact as a matter of fact, and this was provided to me from one of my community members that I hang out with when I play the game. And so Gran Turismo Sport to this day, and these are stats are based off of players that do online daily races and compete in the FIA series races, and of course there's the time trials that the game has going on a week-to-week basis. There is over 14,700,000 active Gran Turismo players worldwide. Now, with that being said, that is only players that do online racing, such as the daily races and the Gran Turismo online manufacturer Nations Cup and test run events. So you got to easily think there's probably another 30% of that number that don't participate in the online events. So Gran Turismo Sport is doing very, very strong, everybody. And looking at probably roughly around 20 million players worldwide, still to this day after 4 years now without a fresh title. But as we all know, the fresh title is coming and scheduled for release in March. Super excited for that. So great things to come there from Gran Turismo. Just a fun little fact I wanted to throw in there for everybody. And wow, I'm not sure what happened there, but Ghost Hair all of a sudden went back from 10th to 8th spot here. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but it doesn't look like anybody's really lost any time, except that Ghost Hair has gained 2 spots there. So not sure what happened there, but it looks like everybody's okay. And I guess we'll have to see what happens come the stewarding time, you know what I mean? And oh, we missed a move here, so you know that's not okay. So we are definitely going to back that up a couple little notches here and get another look at this move here from Little Mac. So Little Mac closed that gap on Supermax in 1.5 laps. Ooh, a little pushing real hard there, a little loose trying to make that move. And that's going to put him late into the inside part of the corner, but it looks like he got that move done. Supermax is fighting back, coming out of the second part of the S's, and right on top of Little Mac here as we come up the straight, coming into, oh, a little bit of contact here. These guys are racing hard, ladies and gentlemen. They are racing hard. Supermax wants that spot back. Oh, and a little bit of contact there. Oh boy, Mex actually got into the back end of Little Mac there, and sure looked like that was the reason why he got wide into the track there. So we're going to see what happens here. And it actually looks like Mex, the great great respect right there, who slowed down and made sure that Little Mac got that position back. So amazing sportsmanship by Supermex right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we love to see here on GT Champions. We love to see that respect among the drivers and sportsmanship. That's what this is all about. So great job to Supermex there for giving that spot to Little Mac, and in the process costing him an additional spot. So absolutely phenomenal job there on Supermex's part. Absolutely great respect between these drivers. But that did give Egon the opportunity to get himself back up front of this race. So let's see if he can hold this like he did last race. But Little Mac, we know Little Mac's not going to have any of it, guys. We know Little Mac is going to push. That's not good enough for him. He is going to try and get that spot back. So we got Derek up in chat here asking how many laps. This is a 90-minute race with this track. We suspect it's going to be roughly between a 52 to say 56, 57 lap race, if I had to guess, just judging off the split times here from the drivers. Lots of laps on a very tough racetrack. Alright, so as this develops up front here again, we'll see what happens. So we are just going to roll through our pack here.
Michael gets his PS5.
Alright, so how's the audio now? Is the audio good, Joe?
Yeah, the audio's good.
The audio's, pardon me?
The audio is good.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Joe is a little quiet in my headset, so I hope that you guys can hear a little motion Joe here. I'm not quite listening myself because I'm distracting myself with my own voice as I'm commentating here. So, and G-Man did get that move done on Gorski at some point while we were watching that battle for first place here. So we'll see if Gorski is going to push the matter or if he's just going to try and close that gap as we move along here in the race. And we have Benjo still here in 7th place. He does have that half-second penalty there. And we have Ghost Terror looking like he is closing the gap. So let's stick with this real quick as we come up to this front straight. Ghost Terror, oh, he is drifting the corner. Boy, he went wide there. He came in there really fast, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely wants that position, obviously, but that's probably going to cost him the chance to take advantage of this half-second penalty that does need to be taken before the start-finish line. And Benjo does get that penalty off before he crosses. And Ghost Terror does try to take it on the outside and does get that move done. Let's just watch this quick, see if we do have a response from Benjo. Oh, Ghost Terror cut that corner a little bit close there. Might get a penalty for that. Let's look back up and just check. His penalty should pop up shortly. It looks like he got away with that. Lucky guy. He could have very easily have just given that position back up. Astro there in 9th, and oh, what did we miss there? We do have Icer in the pits. So let's just check on this really quick here. Make sure that he only fixed race damage as he is in the pits here. The racers know that you can't take on fuel and tires outside of the pit window, and so we'll see real quick what happens here. And it looks like he is just taking a repair, so he is definitely good there. Unfortunate that he got some damage there, had a bit of repair. That's gonna put him a little bit off the pack right now, but we'll watch to see what develops as the race continues on. So back at the leader, Little Mac has, in 2 very short laps, Little Mac has completely closed up that gap on Egon. Little Mac looking very strong again today. Not to take away from the amazing drive from Egon and Supermex as well around him, but Little Mac just looks like he wants it just that much more right now. But, I mean, we still have a lot of time left in the first half of this race before the pit window. So, we'll see what happens as far as tires and fuel management goes. And with that being said, let's just take a quick little peek at the strategies for the drivers here. Although we aren't going to tell you too much right now about the choice of tires from each of the drivers. I'm just flipping through real quick. Okay, so what I can tell you is all the drivers are running the same compound of tire. So I can tell you that, and as we get closer to the pit window, we will obviously allow you guys to check that information out for yourselves. Fuel as well, we'll take a quick look on the fuel situation, and for the most part, most of the drivers all have roughly around the same amount of fuel. So we will keep an eye on that as that develops, and little Mac making that move there on Egon as I was looking through. So didn't take him long, 15 laps from the back of the pack to secure the lead for the time being anyways, that is. And trying to now pull a gap on Egon, who isn't done with this yet. He still wants a piece of this black and silver and green car, no doubt. So we will try to keep our eyes on the front of this pack as much as possible here over the next couple laps to see how the drivers are responding. And actually, as we before, you know what, right before we get into this next lap, let's just bring up that timing for you guys since we don't have it live on screen. So this is lap 15 at the start of lap 15, and we have Little Mac up ahead. We have Egon just out of the slipstream range at the moment with 0.8 of a second behind. Mex also behind by 2.9 seconds. Quasmodo behind Mex by 1.3. And then we have G-Man a little bit further behind in the mid-pack there at 8.8 seconds. And Ogorski 4 seconds behind him. Ghost behind that by 6. Benjo behind Ghost only by 0.4 of a second, which tells me we should go take a quick peek over at the fight for 7th place. Astro is looking like he had a little bit of trouble there, now falling a little bit back as well. And, well, I guess I just blew my little secret there. If you guys were paying attention, you know what tires the drivers are running. So, way to go, me. So we will keep our eyes on the live timing throughout the race as it develops. Egon is looking like he's definitely within that slipstream range here, so we're going to keep our eye on this real quick. We are coming to the end of this long straight. Hopefully remembering he's got to brake just a smidge earlier than the car in front of him, because that slipstream dirty air, the car doesn't quite want to rotate into the corner properly, and of course the slipstream wants to pull the car through the corner. So good job by Egon there, not getting himself into trouble in that as the slipstream was pulling him closer to Little Mac. It's a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. Just like real life racers will tell you this: when you get into that slipstream, it's like an adrenaline rush. It just starts pulling you in, and you do have to make a slight adjustment for that as you guys are racing through the corners of the racetrack. So Gran Turismo does a really great job at bringing that realism aspect into the simulation racing. So just want to give the big shout out to, again, our sponsor here at GT Champions, DG Detailing Group Incorporated, for sponsoring this amazing event. Let's get a hashtag DG up in the chats, everybody. Hashtag DG up in the chats. Let's show our sponsor the love, show them we see them out there, and really appreciate everything that they're providing us here. And again, GT Champions League presented by RWB Racing Group. And let's throw up a hashtag RWB up in the chats on the social platforms as well, everybody. Let's get these chats up and let's get these guys nice and live. And again, you guys, if you guys enjoy the content, you guys enjoy watching events like this, these guys do a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen. And the drivers absolutely love racing in these events for the fans and the viewers of the channel. So I know from the drivers in the GT3 division, we do appreciate every single one of you guys out here tuning in, showing us the love, and we are going to keep pushing, and we are going to keep making great races for you guys, viewers. You make it happen. You guys are what's important here, and all the love out there. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, 12 Ounce Sports and all their channels, and of course my page for any that's following on my page today. If you are watching on my page tonight, you do need to go to the GT Champion sites, preferably their YouTube site. The descriptions are, the links are up in the description. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe to that YouTube channel, everyone. Anyone who is in the winner's circle people viewing from our community tonight, go over and show them guys that love, please, and thank you. They've given us a great opportunity here to be able to be a part of this amazing event, and I want to make sure that you guys are there showing them that amazing love. Go show the love, everybody. So we are definitely into that part of the race where everybody is kind of just settled in, and probably starting to look at their fuel windows right now. They're probably looking at the tire situations. They're looking at the live timing up there going, okay, what could I do here to gain some more time? Let's try to catch up to this guy. So with that being said, let's take a look at the starting rate compared to where we are in the race. Alright, so we're just going to bring that up on the left-hand side of the screen here. So we had Benjo starting up in pole position there and running in 8th place right now. And the faster drivers very, very quickly made short work of us poor newer guys, guys in the back of the pack. But that is exactly what we expect. Marchie Boy, again, you guys are unable to make the race today, so that's very unfortunate. And then we have Icer Walks from Icer Racing Group. You guys, a great racing community. Lots of members, and these Australian drivers are really a fun bunch of guys and a great group of guys to run with. So sitting there in 10th place right now. Earlier on in the race, we did see he had a little bit of race damage, so he is doing his absolute best to make his way through the pack. And then we are at G-Man was starting up there in 3rd spot and doing very well sitting there in 5th place. He has pulled a very large gap on Igorski for the time being. And actually starting to reel in 4th place Quasimodo here, so we will get back to that very quickly, guys and gals and children of all ages out there. We had Igorski starting in 5th place and just settled sitting in that 6th place position right there, so only down a position from where we started, and again just very nice, consistent, and looking good out there on the racetrack. And then we had Ghost Terror sitting there in what would be 5th spot, starting and sitting there in 7th place right now, looking like trying to chase down 6th place Jaworski there. So looking like he had a rough start to the race, but got himself back up to where he's just feeling comfortable, it looks like there, and trying to gain the next position if at all possible. And then we have Max starting in behind Ghost Terror there, and of course Super Max sitting there in 3rd place, trying to get his way back up to the leaders. Then we had Egon right behind Max, who, as we can see, is not letting Little Mac drive away with this race. He is not done with this yet. He is sitting there probably planning his strategy for his next move, just trying to get back into that slipstream right now to get close enough. And then, of course, we had Quadmoto, who again is having a fantastic run, sitting there in 4th place. This would be his 2nd race in the Champions League for GTC-3 division, pardon me, and doing very well again. So he looks like he fits in very well in this division and doing very well for himself. And of course, Little Mac rounding out the 2nd last position on the starting grid, and of course right now championship leader in the standings and leading the race, so looking pretty good right now. And it actually looks like he did pull a little bit of time up on Egon there, so maybe a little bit of mind games going on here. Maybe Little Mac's just taunting Egon a little bit here. We're not sure. We'll keep an eye on that as the race goes on. And of course, the new driver in the division today, Astro Pancake, sitting there in 9th place. He started at the back of the pack because he didn't have the fastest lap to record last race, so by default those drivers automatically fill out the back of the pack, and sitting in 9th place, up a position, and looking good. He's doing good, having a good drive for his first one. It's tough out there, I know how he feels, and it only gets better from here for sure. So continue running, my guy, continue running. And Walks rounding out 10th place here. So let's get back up to the front here. It looks like Little Mac has caught Walks actually, and just about to lap him here. So unfortunately, with that damage and having to take that pit stop, losing roughly probably about 20 seconds of that pit stop for damage there, has gone a lap down, and Egon now as well at the point now where he is looking around, and Benjo spins out here. Really unfortunate. He was really just trying to give Egon the the space to get around him there. In a driver's meeting, it's discussed with the traffic to take a certain part of the line when the leaders come up, and he followed that. And so it's really unfortunate that he just made a little mistake in the marbles there and spun himself out, just doing the right thing there. But without a doubt, he will regain from that and continue pushing forward. So back up in first, we've got Little Mac looking like he's kind of starting to pull a bit of a gap there on second place Egon, who is just settled into his race and just kind of figuring out how he's going to catch that championship leader up front there. And Supermex not far behind Egon as well, chasing him down, trying to gap that distance. I'm sure Supermex in the back of his mind right now would like to finish no less than behind Little Mac if that's how the race goes down this week. The way it sits right now, he is sitting in 1-2 spots behind and going into the final 2 weeks of the championship season. Every single little point matters at this point, so we know that is probably on the back of his mind, and do expect to see him probably start to push in sometime in the near future. G-Man also is in the conversation. Sorry guys, just get that grid off of there. G-Man is also in the conversation for a top 3 finish in the championship run this year, so you know that is probably also sitting on the back of his mind as we're going around the track right here, trying to close that gap up on Supermex and maybe get himself into the podium as well today and gain a couple extra beautiful bonus points. Gorski rounding out 5th place here, just cruising, just kind of doing his thing. He doesn't really have anybody too close behind or too close in front, so he is just running his race right at the moment. We have Moto in 6th place, so we're dropping back a couple spots there. Must have been an incident we've missed, losing 2 spots from 4th place there, but we'll see how that continues as the race progresses. This is a very, very difficult racetrack. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, and to go around this racetrack for 90 minutes will be very tough on the drivers. Ghost Terror here in 7th place. See if we can see the driver out in front of him here. It does not look like it. It looks like he has lost a little bit of time as well. Benjo behind there in 8th place, Ghost Terror, and still recovering from that spin we saw as Egon was going around him there into corner 1. Astro still holding out 9th place, looking good, and Icer just kind of chilling out, trying to regain here after having to make a unfortunate pit stop there. All right. So looking up at the chat.
Egon coming in with a comment saying tough race, technical track that requires a lot of concentration.
Absolutely, Egon, absolutely. Don't doubt for a second. There is not actually. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stick with Little Mac here. We are coming up through the middle sector of the race. Everybody is fairly spread out at the moment, so we are going to take an on-board lap with Little Mac in that Peugeot, and we're going to give leader a full on-board 1 lap around the track here. And of course, we're going to give that to you guys in a cockpit view, of course, because that's the best view. Is it not? Absolutely very difficult view to drive in. For anyone who does play GT Sport knows that cockpit view is extremely difficult to drive in. But legit, that view is fire, ladies and gentlemen. It is the best view in the game to watch a race from, without a question of a doubt. So let's get in with Little Mac, a full lap around Brazil Interlagos, our race leader, also the championship leader at the moment in the standings, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take an on-board lap with our race leader Little Mac as he comes through the first sector, and we'll just leave you to listen to this Peugeot. so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. A very quick 132.2 full 04 lap time on Interlagos with our race leader currently. What a great lap that was. What a great lap. It's so fun to watch the angles from those views. Alright guys, so we are now almost 40 minutes into this race, which means that we are closing in very quickly on that pit window, so we can show you guys what everybody's tires and fuel situation is looking like as we get closer to our pit lane opening here. So we're just going to take that banner down here. So Little Mac here, running on the racing mediums. As I said earlier, all the drivers started on the same tire compound here, so all drivers are on the racing mediums, and looking very, very good. And fuel just a little smidge under a quarter tank with a minute and a half to go into the fuel window. We're going to go flip over to Egon here. Again, his tires are looking really good as well. Left, front, right, and rear are slightly more worn than the race leaders, and identical fuel left in the car. Go down to Super Mex here, very similar tire wear, and actually quite a bit more fuel than the two guys out in front of him. So he has done a good job at saving just a little bit of extra fuel, which could make a massive amount of difference coming into the pit window here for the drivers. And we have G-Mans here. His tires are looking really good, and fuel is actually a little bit less than the three drivers in front. Right now, the worst fuel load out of the drivers we've seen. We have a Gorski here. Tires are actually looking really good as well. Honestly, you could probably run another 20 minutes on those tires yet, and fuel doing really well as well. So these guys have done a great job of managing the fuel in these cars. We go to Quad Moto here. Tires again looking exceptional, and actually Quad going into the pits slightly early, as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen. He dipped into those pits 10 seconds early based off of the replay timer here, so that is caught, unfortunately, and that I'm sure the stewards will take a look at. Hopefully not. Hopefully he wasn't too early on that pit window, but in the pits refueling and taking on his tires right now. We have Astro. His tires look pretty good as well, and actually fuel is doing phenomenal for him back there as well, which will really help him through the pit strategy here. And we got Benjo. Tires are a little more worn, and fuel looking hurt. His fuel is definitely down. He will be he will be pitting after this lap. It looks like he's going to have to. And as we've got Moto coming out of the pits, we are going to check this just to watch. Pit exit does kind of come right into the racing line very quickly here at Interlagos, and the drivers cannot cross that line. He did a good job there. And only go into the racing line, of course, if there is not traffic coming. And we'll dip to Ghost Terror real quick because we missed his tires and fuel. Tires a little more worn than the guys up front, and fuel looking a little less than the guys up front. So it seems like he's doing a fairly decent job there as well. So we're just going to keep our eye on the lead here. We are officially into the pit window now. Sorry, brother, you can hear me now? Okay, good. Sorry, brother. Alright. So, pit window's open. There is a little over 8 minutes left of the pit window. I do suspect that most of the drivers will probably wait towards near the end of the pit window to pit. And, of course, like we said, the drivers do have to be out of the pits no later than the 40-minute remaining mark. So, unfortunately, we did see Moto go into the pits a few seconds early, and unfortunately that may cost him some time when the race goes to the stewards. Just checking on chat here real quick while we wait for some, we have Astro and Icer coming into the pits here, so we're just going to watch the pit stops here real quick. As we got Benjo here, getting his fresh new soft rubber compound tires and a unknown amount of fuel. We don't know. We don't know if he's going to fill that right up or if he's going to only take a certain amount of fuel. We don't know what the strategy is here. So Pancake did obviously go into the pits first, so we're just going to keep an eye on him real quick as he comes out of pit lane. Make sure that he stays within those pit exit regulations required on track coming back into traffic. And he does so safely. And going to go back down to Benjo as he comes out, and also looks like comes out with no incidents. We do have Ghost Terror now into the pits. And looking like he maybe could have went one more lap, but just decided, here I might as well just dive in and getting his fresh soft tires and tank of fuel for himself as well. And I will just stick here real quick. Some lively orange racing suits on the pit crew there, and a pretty simple design from Ghost Terror today on that livery. So, and he's now coming out of the pits, and then just want to keep our eye on this, make sure that the drivers are following the pit entry and exit regulations as required per the GT Championship rules. He does have traffic coming out beside him, so let's see what happens here. He is coming out right beside another driver. He does keep it in the lines. Oh, he gets a little close. He does make a little bit of contact there. But it actually kind of looks like he backed off there and just let the faster drivers get through and tuck in behind. So no harm, no foul there, thankfully, but did definitely make a little bit of contact as we moved into that corner there. I don't know the corner names yet, my guys and gals out there. I do apologize. I will start doing my research there and try getting you the proper names of these corners as we're broadcasting events like this. So we do have Little Mac starting to come back on walk for, I believe, the second time now. And we are 5 minutes left into the pit window. So within the next couple laps, we will start seeing the front-running drivers making their pit stops here to ensure that they get out in that required 10-minute window. So we'll just keep our eyes on the on that live timing here real quick. Check for anybody going in. We don't have anybody going in, so fantastic. We got AJ tuning in on one of the Facebook pages. Welcome, AJ. Thank you for stopping by. And just cruising with the leader. We probably have a couple little mini battles here. We probably have the faster drivers going around the guys coming in and out of the pits, but we have, Benjo mixed in with Gorski here, Quad Moto mixed in with Watts, Ghost Terror right behind both of them as Quaz hits that AstroTurf, and then when you get a couple tires onto that fake grass there on this truck, it is worse than dipping your tires on the grass, ladies and gentlemen. It is slippery, very slippery. We do have G-Man now in the pits here. Check out the beautiful racing suits here on G-Man's racing team. Looking good, boys. Looking sharp out there. Hopefully they have a good, clean pit stop. Don't forget any lug nuts on track, and get the driver back out on track as quickly as possible. Alright, taking on the fuel. Got us a nice, beautiful, fresh set of rubber on its car with some gorgeous soft compounded tires. So we know with all the drivers coming out in the last half of this race with soft compounded tires that they are all going to be pushing for that extra spot on the grid. And we're just going to stick with G-Man here, putting it out of the pits. Make sure that he, again, just stays within the regulations and doesn't have an incident coming into what I believe is corner 4 of the racetrack here. Could be 5, I could be wrong there. And stays within that pit limit and comes out nice and clean, no traffic. And all the leaders have come in behind each other. So Egon and Little Mac sitting there with 1% fuel left in their tanks. And Supermax just chilling back there like, hey guys, I got 10%, right on, I can take a little less fuel. Might gain both positions here depending on what the gap was when they all came in to the pits. So we will stick with Egon here. Actually, Little Mac is first out, so let's get with Little Mac here as we come out of the pits. And we had Gorski come in just now as well into the pit lane. So I do believe there's only one or two more drivers left to get into pit lane here. And Little Mac is out. We are going to jump in with Egon as he was the second place driver, as he's coming up with a player with a penalty there, it appears to be. And keeps that nice and clean coming out of pit lane, and comes out of that corner nice and clean. Supermex right behind, again being able to take a little less fuel, able to gain a little bit of time on the leaders, and actually that looks like he gained a significant amount of time. And G-Man also coming out now as well. We'll hit Gorski up here, and just ride with him as he exits the pit lane here. And I do believe there is only one driver left to take a pit. I might be wrong there. And he does come into traffic coming on him, but looks like he just stayed ahead of the traffic. And it looks like that Moto just didn't really want to try and fight him through there, just wanted to get through there safe and live to fight another day, as he does dip his nose inside. And Gorski having a little bit of trouble there, holding that line on those cold tires. These tires, when you come out of the pits, a fresh set of any kind of compounded tire in these races, when they are cold, do lack a little bit of grip. You do have to get those tires warmed up. So a little bit of a misjudgment there from Gorski, and losing some time on Moto there. So we'll have to keep our eye on that as that develops. And it looks like that gave Ghost Terror an opportunity to gain a little bit of time up on those two guys as well. And I believe all the drivers have now made their pits. Gonna flip through quick, yes. So we are going to Jimmy Dammy up that beautiful banner and display all that information for you viewers who just want to know, I'm sure, how those tires are looking. So with that being said, the drivers did take the more durable compounded tire for the start of the race. So you should, in theory, based off of the way that the physics of the game work, you would suspect that the soft tires should go off of these race cars, I would say 20 to 25% sooner over the medium compounded tires, just because they are a little bit softer, so they will wear a little bit more because the car is able to put a lot more power down through the back tires. And of course with that comes more traction and uses up more rubber on the tires. So we will see these softs deplete a little bit quicker than the mediums did. So that should be interesting as we near the latter parts of this race. And we're just going to go through the field. It looks like everyone is just settled in and working those soft compound tires in. And getting ready to try and make move towards the next guy in front of them. This might be actually a good time to go ahead and take a look at the live timing. So let's do that. Let's take a look at the live timing as the race stands. We are in lap 32, and we are 51 minutes into this 90-minute enduro race. And we have Little Mac, after all the pit stops, still holding first place position. And we have Egon behind Little Mac there by 14 seconds. So something happened there that we missed. And with Supermex very close behind Egon with only a 1.5 second gap, not too far behind at all. And G-Man with a sizable gap behind there at 30 plus seconds. So a little bit of a time difference from the front of the pack to the mid-back pack. So we'll be interested to see if the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place drivers can pick any of that time back up. And then Gorski behind Quad Moto by almost 4 seconds. Ghost Terror behind Gorski by 2.5. Astro behind Ghost by close to a minute. And Benjo behind a little further than that. And I'm not sure why it's not showing walks. He is a couple laps down at this point. And at this point, the fastest lap does belong to Little Mac. So, chat, how has everyone enjoyed the first half of this Division 3 race? What do we think of the race so far? Has it been action-packed? Has it been fun to watch? How's the racetrack? Do you guys like this racetrack? Maybe as a player of GT Sport or as a racer in real life, because I know we do have real racers in these championship divisions, and I know that we obviously have real racers that do watch these events as well. These are absolutely amazing events. How can you not like this? Look at these graphics. If you're an unsuspecting viewer and you just stumble across this for the very first time, say on a YouTube or Facebook video, and dabble at this for 2 or 3 minutes, without really knowing or being told that this is a video game, it might be very, very hard to determine. And Egon cutting that line a little short there. Let's go take a look at that again. That is again a part of the pit lane regulations. The drivers do have to keep 2 tires on the right side of that double line where the green meets. It was very close, but it does look like he did keep those 2 tires on the tarmac there. So great job by him there, but super close to getting himself a big penalty there. And I do believe that that is a 5-second penalty every time you cross that line. So great job by him to keep that out of that 5-second realm of penalties from the ever so hard-working stewards of GT champions here. And Supermex is trying to close that gap up to Egon right now, and looking like he's about 2 to 3 seconds behind. And moving back into 4th place here with that absolutely beautiful candy apple red color on that car. Absolutely gorgeous color. Really sits on that Alfa Romeo 4C really well. And actually, let's do that. We haven't done that yet. We listened to a Peugeot on a full lap around the track. We have not given Alfa Romeo their time on screen. So when G-Man comes around this last little sector, we are going to jump on board with G-Man and do a full lap on board via the best view, cockpit view, obviously. Fire, that view is fire, chat. And listen to this car. This car actually sounds pretty good. And of course we'll make sure to turn that race volume up a little bit for you guys to get a really good listen. Thank you very much for the kind words. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot. But you know, we're just having fun with this. When you do things that you enjoy, it gets easier and easier every time you do it. And that's what these racers are doing out here on track. They do this because they enjoy putting on a show for the viewers. And let me tell you, you guys, they are definitely putting on a show today. These drivers are putting it all out on the track for everyone. The championship's drawing near, and I tell you, these are going to be a very exciting next 2 races after this race. So here we are with G-Man. We are going to do the onboard. We're going to crank the volume up for you guys, and I am going to shut up for 1.5 minutes. We didn't give you guys a good view. I robbed you guys. I am so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I completely robbed you guys of the best view in the game. So we will definitely give you a few extra corners here. Gonna hype up the chat like that. Hey, we're gonna give you the glory, great cockpit view. That view is fire, and then not give it to you guys. My bad, guys. The gals out there, my bad. All right. You know, we gotta have one epic fail at every stream. It's just gonna have to happen, I guess. That's just the way we roll here. Your host Ghost fumbling over his feet a little bit from time to time. All right. So, Joe, what do you think about the race so far, my guy? How do you think the drivers are doing here today? Let me turn the race car sounds down a little bit here. I can definitely tell that's drowning everybody out. There we go. Just try to get your mic a little bit closer.
Any closer, I'll be chewing on it.
Alright, no, you're good now. Alright. Fans out there, we all picked a race car driver to win this race. How's your pick doing? Let's get a hashtag GTC-3 up in the chat, everybody. Let's get hashtag GTC-3 up in the chats.
Master Pancake wants it.
One more Egon lap. We have a request from chat saying they would like an on-board lap with our second place driver, Egon. So before we do that, let's take a quick peek at G-Man getting around 10th place Icer walks here. Icer gave him plenty of room and really didn't need to even get off his race there, so that was a fantastic move. Alright, so we do have them starting up at the finish line right now, so actually this is beauty timing, and of course, sorry you guys, the fire view. So we are on board here with our second place driver Egon, as per request to the Egon fans in chat and on 12 Ounce Sports. We are on board with Egon for a lap. This next minute, 20 seconds or so, guys, is all yours. My mic is off. There we go. Alright. So that was about 5 minutes of lost commentary there. You guys didn't really miss that much. Alright, so that means you guys missed me thanking the viewers for stopping in and tuning in today's broadcast. Thank you from the GTC-3 division drivers for tuning in and cheering us on. We absolutely appreciate all of your support, and just can't thank you guys enough. You're the reason this happens. And again, GT Champions World Cup Season 2 is brought to you by RWB Racing and sponsored by DG Detailing Group Incorporated. And these amazing graphics that we see on the broadcast are presented and done by Hyprix. So let's get some hashtag DG, let's get a hashtag RWB, and let's get a hashtag Hyprix, HYPRIX, up in chat. Let's show these guys that we see them and we appreciate everything they're doing to put these events on, chat. Let's fire these guys up. Let's show them the love out there today. Let's show GT Champions all the love we can. And of course on 12 Ounce Sports as well. Make sure you guys are showing that support over there on 12 Ounce Sports. Alright, so we're just going back through. We were just cycling to see the positions here. I hear a spin. Let's see if we can find that. And it was Ghost Terror. Ghost Terror seems like he is struggling in the latter part of this race, as we didn't catch the spin, but we definitely heard the spin. So it sounded like a good spin. And back on track. And just watch this next corner here. Seems like he has things back under control. Alright, so moving over to Astro here, who has actually gained a position. And now
Michael also saying thanks, asked and hooked up.
Awesome, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Love you guys. Everyone out there who has followed and subscribed to the pages, welcome to the GT Champions family here. And the racers, absolutely thank you so much for your support. And to the rest of the viewers out there, slamming out those likes and those shares and those hearts over on Twitch. So much appreciation. Thank you so much. You guys are legends. You're the real winners here. And we just can't thank you guys enough. So keep those chats going. We still have 23 minutes left of this broadcast. And then we have some great driver interviews to follow up. So stay tuned. Refresh those cold beverages. Give your hugs a kid. Tell them you love them if they're sitting beside you. And let's get on with the rest of our race, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so in the race lead, running some 131 laps right now. Fastest laps on the track right now. Just pulling away with this race. I don't think he wants to even give Egon and Max in the back the chance to even catch up. So, what's going to happen here? He's going to push. It looks like he's bleeding off a penalty here. I'm not sure what's going on there. Well, he's a ghosted car right now, so he may maybe be having a slight connection error at the moment. Definitely the AI has taken over Little Mac's car at the moment, so we will see how that changes the race, because Egon and Max, who are racing at race pace right now, are definitely going to start shedding several tenths of a second off of these race times, while Little Mac is sorting out whatever issue it is that he is having. Okay. So, again, my apologies, Joe. I can't seem to keep that mic flipped down today. Alright, so what do we got? Next in third, we have Moto here in fourth. Oh, and he did not just cross the finish line with a penalty. We will have to back that up a little bit, chat. We got to see where he actually incurred this penalty. And he incurred this penalty with plenty of time to get rid of it. So that will be something that the racing staff our wonderful, hard-working stewards over here at GT Champions will take a look at after the race. Really unfortunate for Quadmoto there, as that's going to lose him some time off of his race result here today. And the drivers know that they have to lose these penalties before the start-finish line of the lap. You incur the penalty on. Little small amount of leeway there for the drivers. If you incur that penalty right at the start-finish line, then you will have the next lap to bleed that penalty. But in this case, he had the penalty, it looks like, well into the lap, and had all the time in the world to bleed the penalty off. Just chose not to, mainly probably because G-Man is starting to close up in the rearview mirror of Quadmoto here. So I think Quadmoto probably felt that he didn't want to give up that position, and will just take his chances with the race stewards. Ghost Hair here in 7th. You can't see Igorski off that back straight, so he looking like he is back a little ways. And of course, if we look at the little radar screen on the top right-hand side of the stream there, you will see the next closest dot in front of and behind the driver we are watching at the moment. So Astro has a cushion in between, in front of and behind him, and really just keep driving, doing his thing, and we'll bring home a nice solid 8th place finish here for his debut in the GTC-3 championship season 2. And Benjo just bleeding off a penalty there. May have maybe bled that off a little bit late as well. So it looks like the drivers are struggling a little bit with finding places to burn off the penalties before the start-finish line here. So there is not necessarily a designated area on the racetrack to burn off the penalties for the drivers. It is just their responsibility to bleed the penalties off and try to maintain race pace as well as their lap progresses. So again, the drivers have to make that decision based off of themselves, and if they choose not to get rid of the penalty before that start-finish line, they will incur a penalty. So unfortunate there for Quadmoto, and it is what it is at this point, and we'll leave that in the hands of the amazing stewards here at GT Champions. So we do have what seems to be a close and gaining to be closer front 5 in the race here, as Moto is just trying to get around some lap traffic here, who is Benjo at this moment. Benjo, of course, pulls over to the high side of the line and gives him the space to drive around him freely. And let's just take an eye and see if he gets rid of his 0.1 second penalty. He has actually incurred another half-second penalty for cutting the pit lane. Quadmoto's race is falling apart at the end of this race for him right now. He very slippery through there, may incur more penalty, as it looked like he cut another corner there. So Quadmoto having a bad couple laps here, definitely incurring some extra penalties in his race here, which is unfortunate. We have G-Man here in 5th place, trying to chase Quadmoto down, and really right now what G-Man needs to do, without realizing that Moto is stacking up some extra time penalties right now, just get close enough to him if he can't get by him by the end of this race, and may gain that position by default after the official results are released approximately 48 hours after race time. So this could be good for G-Man as he closes in on that 4th place driver. And Igorski is here in 6th place, trying to get into this battle that is starting to develop up front here. So with that being said, we are going... Oh, we have Moto coming out. Losing control there, trying to keep it off the racetrack, come all the way across, and I'm not sure why Astro stopped and gave him the position back there. Let's back that up a little bit. I don't think Astro caused this incident, so he should have had every right just to drive around Moto here, but Moto is technically a lead car and Astro is technically lap traffic here, so let's just see what happens here. As Astro did everything he was supposed to do here. He took that high line. It just looked like Quad Moto just binned his car. He just lost his car and spun out trying to get into that corner. And Astro doing the right thing there by just sitting on the track and letting Quad Moto go by him again after the spin, so he can get back in his race there. So G-Man has now inherited 4th place due to the racing incident. Due to not an incident, but Moto just losing the back end of his car there, and unfortunately going for a little merry-go-round in the middle of the track. So he did find a way to get back around G-Man here. So G-Man now shaking him back down as Astro is just kind of chilling in the back of this packet, like, thanks boys, I'm going to take that slipstream here for a little bit and roll around the track with you boys. Let's see if Astro tries to get back around here. It looks like Astro is just trying to kind of stay back in behind these guys and take advantage of that slipstream as these guys are battling each other for that 4th spot. But let's get back up into the front of the pack as we are 15 minutes away from the finish of this race here at beautiful Brazil, Interlagos. So Little Mac looking like he has a pretty substantial lead here. We have not seen Egon come around the corner, so Little Mac looking pretty comfortable as the last quarter of the race is underway. A little less than quarter. And we're going to come down to Egon here. Egon now just coming through the sector. We were just watching Little Mac in, so roughly 5 to 6 seconds behind at this point right now. But Super Mex is in the picture, and I'm sure that if Egon looks in that beautiful review mirror in that Peugeot, he can just see a pixel of that gorgeous purple livery coming behind him here. So a little bit of pressure starting to develop from 3rd place Super Mex here as he tries to work on getting that 2nd place away from Egon. Just watch Super Mex here a little bit. Take a couple of corners here. Absolutely gorgeous livery. I just cannot stop ogling over that livery. It is my favorite livery of round 8 this week. Just absolutely beautiful job. And we got Quad Moto, who seems to have pulled away from G-Man. So Quad Moto showing that he has some pretty good pace in this race. Not sure what G-Man is up to back there. Maybe he is conserving some fuel or some tires, or just not quite in the rhythm yet. By this point, most of the drivers are locked into this race. They are 100% focused. Their eyes are probably burning from not blinking, because they're focusing so hard. It requires so much concentration to run these races for 90 minutes, keep your car on track, battle for positions, and try not to create a racing incident. It is absolutely a workout. So kudos to all the drivers on track. And I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Astro coming in saying, phew, that felt worse than live. Glad I didn't miss it.
Sorry, Astro, I just happened to catch it, you know, it just happens that way, So we're back here in 7th place with Ghost Terror, and Astro in the chat there watching the race himself, so welcome, Astro. And good job as well so far in the race. And just chilling, Astro behind G-Man right now. Just chilling, and then we see Gorski in behind there. we have some of the lap traffic mixed in with the non-lap traffic at the moment. Actually, it's quite potentially most of the cars are lapped by Little Mac at this point, I believe, just judging off of how the race has gone now. And we do see Benjo with what looked like to be a half-second penalty, has knocked a couple tenths of a second off that penalty, and looks like he is struggling a little bit near the end of this race with this car. Now, the Alfa Romeo 4C is a stallion. This car can be your absolute best friend when you are being just right with it, but when you try to abuse this car, it fights back, it kicks. It is like a Bronco. It kicks so hard, and it is so hard to control. So you really got to treat this 4C with a little bit of TLC, just so it treats you right. The Peugeot is a little more of a forgiving car. Peugeot does have a little bit of an understeering issue, but also a very solid car. But this 4C can be very difficult as the tires do start to fall off of these cars. And rounding up the back end of the pack here, we have Icer Walks, who is hanging in tough, running his race and just not giving up, and good job to Walks for pushing forward no matter what happens in the race. That's what it's about. And at the end of the day, for a driver, every lap is track experience and does matter. So we're just going to jump back on the Supermex here. We are 10 minutes left in the race, ladies and gentlemen, so we are going to pull the bottom banner back off and let you guys take a look at the tires and the fuel situation for the drivers as we enter the final 10 minutes of this race. So Little Mac has gotten around Icer Walk and continuing to try and open the gap up between the second and third place drivers who are chasing Little Mac down also in the championship standings. Pardon me, my mouth is getting extremely dry. I'm kind of starting to lose my voice a little bit here. Egon here in second place. Let's just take a look. You can see the lap traffic just around the corner there in the end of the screen. So Little Mac is really starting to open the gap up on these drivers. And these drivers are all looking very good on their fuel and their tires. So I don't think that that is going to be too much of an issue. And with the drivers knowing that they have a little bit, probably too much fuel on board, that actually gives them the capability to push a little bit harder and maybe, just maybe, sneak that extra spot in before the end of the race. So we do have Quad Moto going a little bit wide there. That is very borderline penalty right there. Looks like Gran Turismo stewards were very kind to him there and decided not to hammer down on him with a potential 1 second penalty. And G-Man behind Quad Moto here, also pushing. Fuel looking good. Quad Moto's fuel is looking a lot grimmer than the rest of the drivers around him. So we will keep our eye on that situation as it develops into the next 2 laps or so here. Is he going to have enough fuel to hold 4th place from G-Man? What do you think, chat? Does Quad Moto have enough fuel to hold off G-Man, chat? Yes or no up in the chats. Yes or no up in the chats. You only have a couple minutes here. We all can see it on stream here. We can see the difference between the 2 drivers. Tires are fairly close, so the tires aren't really going to factor in much there, but the fuel, and Agorski with just an amazing amount of fuel. Agorski can probably go full out here and easily make the end of the race by the looks of it. Phenomenal job saving fuel in this race. Great job, Agorski. Yeah, really well done in the 4C. Is a bit of a gas guzzler, so 7th place we got Ghost Terror, and so we see Nagorski just coming across that start-finish line, where Ghost Terror is just coming through the latter part of the middle sector where all the technical corners take place. So probably not really too worried about gaining a position here, but not losing a position at this point. And Astro up here in 8th place. Again, great job to Astro today, holding down that 8th place. He's got that 7 minutes remaining to keep that position and solidify his very first league race in GT Champions with a good solid finish and drive here. So awesome to see the new drivers come in and do well for themselves. And he does have some lead traffic coming up to him as well. And Benjo here in 9th. and Icer walks rounding up the back end of the pack here. Again, he did have that early incident where he did have to pit, and he's just really trying to continue his race, and I'm sure he's just trying to make improvements at this point on his driving line, maybe his braking points, and just trying to shave some time off those lap times. And like I said, as a driver, every lap matters for track experience. As he pulls over to the right to let Egon go by, and nice very tidy move there by Egon not to lose too much pace there as he is trying to chase down that ever so quick Little Mac. Can anybody catch this guy this season, guys? What do you think, chat? You think anybody is going to catch it? Oh, and Benjo with a very, very big wide corner there, potentially going into the wall. Let's take a look here. I see no race car damage, but he is going into the pits. What looks like to be Ford fuel. It looks like he does not have enough fuel to finish the race, and he just doesn't have a choice. He has to put fuel in that car, so unfortunately for Icer Benjo, we caught him live on stream having to stop in at the end of that race, taking on a little extra fuel. As we know, that is not allowed, so he will unfortunately have a little discussion with our ever so lovely hard-working stewards behind the scenes here at GT Champions. Alright, so we are in the final potential, probably 3 laps for the front end of this pack in the race here. So Little Mac in first, Egon in second, Supermex here in third, we have G-Man in fourth, Quad Moto now in fifth, so G-Man did get that position back. We have Agorski just holding down that 6th place, holding down the Ford here for RWB Racing, and Ghost Terror holding 7th. We have Astro here in 8th, Benjo in 9th, and Walks in 10th. Now, I don't want to jinx it. We are very close to the end of the race, so I probably shouldn't say it, but so far today we have not had a driver disconnect or drop out of the race for any reason. Knock on wood, commentator's curse. Hopefully this doesn't happen in the last 5 minutes of the race. As we saw last week, Marty Boy did have some form of issue in the last minute and a half of the race. Super, super unfortunate, and hopefully that doesn't happen today. Knock on wood. Alright, so let's go on board with our race leader here. As you can see in the top right hand corner of the broadcast, all the drivers are pretty spaced out. I think that really the only shot at a move before the end of the race is going to be between Supermex and Egon, and as Supermex is just running out of time, he is running out of time. So we're just gonna we are gonna hang out here with Little Mac for the last couple laps of this race, and then we'll cycle through the drivers as they are coming through the start and finish line here. So I really hope that everyone has enjoyed today's broadcast. As soon as the race is over, please stick around. We do have driver interviews and of course the final standings, and a little thank you and goodbye from your host and co-host Tim and Joe before we end the broadcast here this evening. So Little Mac is coming around. We have 2.5 minutes left in the race, so this will be now down to the final 2 laps for this race. So it will be 59 laps for the drivers on the lead lap, and most likely 58 laps for the rest of the pack. Again, a nice solid drive here by Little Mac. Just showing his consistency, showing his dominance around these racetracks with the various types of cars, and just looking very, very hard to beat. Very, very hard to beat. We're just going to flip through quick. We want to check on the second and third place situation, and really, honestly, this and Gorski has just made a move, so let's back that up a second. Agorski coming in on Quad Moto. What happened here? Quad Moto looked like he just went really deep coming out of that corner, and Gorski just came through with an absolutely gorgeous run and just overtook him there on the inside. And I think Quadmoto knew that he could not fight that move and just gave Gorski the space to go ahead and take position number 5. So Gorski sitting there going, thank you very much, that's what I've been waiting for, and I am now going to take 5th place home here. Catch me if you can. And just round out, everybody's still on track, and moving back to the race leader, who is now gaining on Astro, who is our 8th place driver. And we are officially with 1 minute and 8 seconds left of this absolutely amazing race. It has been a good one, and lots of corners, lots of action, and lots of viewer interaction. I love to see it. You guys are legends. And here we come with Little Mac as he is coming around the first sector of the racetrack, now moving into the hardest sector of the racetrack where all the tight corners are. And if you can get that great line through all these corners, you can actually hum around them at a relatively good, juicy pace. And a lot of your time is made up right in the corner where Little Mac just came out of. And of course this twisty section here. If you are really dialed in and really on that driver line, and you are just perfect on your shifts and your braking points and your throttle points, you can make up an easy half second to a second over your competition just through this sector alone. So as we can see, Little Mac has it's just ripping, and he has backed off a little bit at this point in the race. His tires are down a little bit. Tires are potentially probably wearing a little bit. As we said, the softs do wear faster than the mediums. And so we are going to keep our eye on the time. We are at that 90-minute mark, roughly. We've backed the replay up a couple of times, so it's not 100% accurate here now. But we do have Little Mac coming up, so let us see. So, G-Man for fun on his finishing 4th. Little Mac first. Everything is all mixed up here because the drivers are completely spread out. So we'll get to Egon here coming through in 2nd place. Little Mac with just a dominant performance again today. Egon with an absolutely amazing drive. Go over to Supermax here, flashing those lights. These guys are absolutely thrilled with the way the races went. And unfortunately we missed the back half of the pack, finishing the race for some reason. And somehow the 7th place driver and 9th place drivers have earned themselves another lap here as well. So I guess we will stay on board with Ghost Terror as he comes through the final sector onto the back straightaways here, and watch him come across the start-finish line. And then we will jump over to Benjo, who just got across the line. So Ghost Terror, I believe, is the last racer to finish, and that is it for this race. So we are just going to flip over to the Be Right Back. Okay, so we are back. I just had to bring up the race results. I've got them saved in a file on my PlayStation, so I just threw you over to the Be Right Back screen just to avoid the personal information thing. So these are the unofficial race results. These are race results on track. This is how the race finished. After the stewards, so basically, okay, let me explain how this happens. 24 hours after the race, the drivers have to file any incident reports for incidents on track for the stewards to take a look at. After that point, the stewards now go ahead and review the race as a whole, make sure everybody stayed outside the pit lines, make sure people didn't take fuel and tires outside of the pit windows, making sure everybody took the right compound of tires throughout their pit change, etc. All the little things that the drivers have to watch out for while they're racing. So in that 48-hour period, that is where our lovely, beautiful, hardworking stewards are involved and get to hand out the lovely job of penalties, unfortunately. They have a tough job. So let's show some love up in the chat for our hardworking behind-the-scenes stewards as well. Let's get some hearts up in the chat for our stewards here at GT Champions, everyone. Let's get hearts up in the chat. So we had Little Mac finishing here in first place, followed by Egon in second, and Supermex in third. All three of these drivers were in the Peugeot RCZ cars, so RCZ showing their dominance in this race in GTC-3 division. G-Man coming up in fourth place. RWB Igorski coming in fifth. Quadmoto with another strong race, finishing in sixth. Ghost Terror finishing in seventh. Astro in eighth. Benjo and Walks from Icer Racing Group in ninth and 10th to finish off the racing bracket. All drivers finished the race from where they started and finished the race. We didn't have any disconnects. So great job to all the drivers on track. And we are now going to flip you over and get you some juicy driver interviews. All right. All right, awesome race, viewers. I hope you all enjoyed the events tonight. So this is the part of the stream where we are going to get together with our podium finishers and do a little interview time here and see what they have to say from what they saw from their eyes. So we're here with third place finisher Supermex. So Supermex, how'd the race go for you today?
It was a good race. Just a long one, trying to pace yourself, trying to keep up. And try and figure out Egon's strategy there. It looked like we were both on the same strat, so it's just a tough race.
Yeah, very technical race. Lots of corners, not a lot of huge straightaways. Every tenth of a second definitely matters on this track. For sure.
Yeah, and it's not easy to pass somebody when they're very similar lap times. I think me and Egon pretty much we're really close in lap time, so you can't really do anything with that with air wash, and we're just so close.
Yeah, well, and that's another factor too. The drivers always have to keep in mind when they're running these long races like that. Slipstream definitely changes your entry into these corners as well, so it's kind of a juggling act for sure.
Yeah, it was a good race. I think the strategy played off real well. It was really kind of scary, I think, for couple of us on getting out of the pits in time, because that was going to be close. I was pondering doing another lap, but I think it would have been so close trying to do that. So I came in maybe a lap sooner than I wanted to, and then I probably took on 2 laps too much fuel. So if I would have got that fuel just right, I think I would have jumped Egon, and then it would have been a little bit more of a challenge for him. But I'll take podiums all day. More than happy with podiums.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right there in the standings. You're trying to chase down the ever so quick Little Mac here, and I think it's going to be a great final 2 races to the season. So congratulations on that third place finish, Supermex. Anybody you want to shout out, or any special things you want to say before we move on to Egon here?
No, it was a great race. It's always a spirited battle with Egon. I'm learning a lot from watching him, so that's always nice. And the Icer guys and the RWB guys are always fun to race with. They're a real fun bunch.
Absolutely great group of guys we got here for sure. All right, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, Supermex, and enjoy your few days off before the next one. All right, so now we've got our second place finisher, guys, Egon, and also driving that Peugeot. Peugeot seemed to have dominated this race today. Great drive, Egon, coming off a first place win last race and then following it up with a good, strong second place finish today. You've got to be sitting on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, I'm really happy. It was a tough race. It was not easy at all. I had a great start. I probably started up right at the beginning to jump probably to third place. Unfortunately, the Aussies were playing really hard in terms of racing as a team. I believe I got a couple of pushes there from the guys down under, but no pun intended, and no, I'm sure they didn't have the intent. They're good drivers. And then my strategy, as Supermax said, was starting on the mediums, trying to get as many positions as I could. I think I was lucky to get to the front right at the first corner, but then I got bumped. I lost like 3 or 4 on the first lap. And then I had to go one by one and start coming up the ladder. There were times that I was very close to Little Mac, which was really my target, but he was controlling. He was in control of the race. There's a couple times that I could have tried to go for a pass, but he had the pace to just push it, not let me through. So I played safe, staying behind him for as much as I could. Actually, I was watching the time and checking on Supermax behind me, because I know that if I made a mistake, Supermax would be all over my bumper. So I was only just focusing on that gap and trying also to conserve a little bit of tires. Tough track, but all in all, it was a good result, enjoyable race, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
So how's it feel being in the middle of that championship sandwich, as we like to call it, based off the results today? You're trying to chase down that championship leader who just has a great pace in these races, and then you always have to have in the back of your mind that Supermax is going to be hunting you down and on you before the end of the race. How does that gotta feel as a driver on the racetrack?
Yeah, it's a good point, good observation. I mean, Supermax is super fast, so my target, if anything, is to try to stay ahead of him. This season, I missed, I believe, 1 or 2 races. I was actually ill. I contracted COVID. That knocked me out of one. I believe the second race I also couldn't show up. So my points are a little bit in the back because I missed 2 races. But next season, I want to make sure I race them all. And yeah, I'll be watching for Supermax's move on the next track. But I'm looking forward to a good race with him, with all the guys, and with Little Mech as well.
Well, as we've seen earlier in the point standings, earlier in the stream there when we were showing them to the viewers, the points are becoming very, very interesting. We have the top 2 fighting for that number 1 position for the championship, and you are very much in that fight for 3rd place now. So great racing, and good luck coming into week 9 next week at Suzuka.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank my sponsors for tonight, which was Coração de Mãe, Mother's Heart, my fraternity back in Brazil. Saying hello to them. They gave me a nice logo to put in the car, and I think I represented them well. Thank you very much, guys.
Yes, good run. All right, and then we've got our first place finisher, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Little Mac. Little Mac, great drive as always. How's it feel? How's it feel to know that you're just 2 weeks away from having a trophy in your hands?
It feels okay. Like, I'm faster than these guys, so it kind of makes it down. Last season I was in GRC1 or GTC-1, but I race a lot of a different platform, so on these ones I only have 1 day that I practice, and then I just go out there and have fun and try to stay up front as much as I can. And not hit walls, which I've been good at doing in like 6 races.
Well, that happens to the best of us. For sure.
It was fun, though. I just love racing.
Obviously, I don't know what the race looked like up front there as a driver, but it was just a great drive by you again. You are just great consistency, and you do really well with that management on your fuel and your tires. So, is there any sponsors or anything you want to shout out? Any hellos you want to say out there?
Yeah, my wife Jessie, she's my sponsor.
Awesome. It's always good to have family involved. So
yeah, then you got the sponsors of the series, DG, and I don't remember the other one, but yeah, they're the main sponsor.
Yeah, I just like the drivers. Some of the drivers are sometimes they're driving for a cause, and it's just it's good to get that out there and say thank you to the viewers, and a great race by everybody today, especially our first, second, and third place finishers. And boy, oh boy, these last 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, are shaking up to be really good. So stay tuned next week, everybody. Little Mac, Egon, and Mex, thank you so much for your time today, and absolutely great racing, you guys. Phenomenal stuff.
Thank you.
And we are back. All right, so there it is, everybody. The top 3 finishers of our race today. Some amazing interviews. These guys had some very great words, and absolutely fantastic run by our top 3 drivers. Egon to Little Mac and Super Max. Absolutely phenomenal job out there, you guys. You guys deserve every little bit of recognition you get for these races. You're always fighting it out for those top 3 spots. And good job to Astro Pancake, our new driver in the division this week. He started and finished the race with a respectable 8th place finish, and now has a little bit more track experience to work with moving forward into next week, which is round 9. So I just want to take a minute, everyone, and thank everyone for viewing tonight. So your host Ghost and your co-host Joe really do appreciate every single one of you, whether it be man, woman, or child, or even the odd 4-legged friend tuning in. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you for the comments in the chat, the likes, the shares, and thank you for following and subscribing to the channels over on 12 Out Sports. On behalf of the GTC-3 drivers, thank you very much for tuning in. We love each and every one of you guys out there. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, you're the real winners here. And every day of your life, always remember that you're number 1. So, with that being said, guys, next week's race is in Suzuka. And it will be with Group 4 cars, which I am not going to say anything more about. And if you guys want to learn more information about the upcoming race coming this Saturday, tune into the GT Champions sites and social platforms and watch for the announcements. Again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. GT Champions World Cup Season 2 Round 8 was presented by RWB Racing, DG Digital Group Incorporated, Detailing Group Incorporated, my bad, so sorry DG, I love you guys, and graphics brought to you by Hyprix. One more time, chat, let's get a hashtag DG up in the chats right before we end the stream here. Let's let DG know we see them, we love them, and we appreciate the content that they allow us to view every weekend. So with that being said, guys, we will see you next week, and all the love out there. And from your host Ghost and your co-host Joe, stay winning. Everybody, stay winning.